Hello, you're watching News Mongolian MNB World. I'm your host, Ayundel Basanjo. Our top stories. Dinosaur from Mongolia featured in the United Nations Don't Choose Extinction campaign. 116 COVID-19 cases and 1 additional death reported. For other news, stay tuned. The United Nations Development Programme brought a ferocious talking dinosaur from Mongolia all the way to the United Nations headquarters to urge more climate action from global leaders in a short film launched as the centerpiece of the global Don't Choose Extinction campaign. The Mongolian version of the film features the voice of Mongolian actress Odon Chimig and puts a spotlight on the climate crisis.
Bursting into the iconic General Assembly Hall, famous for history-making speeches by leaders from around the world, the imposing dinosaur tells an audience of shocked and bewildered diplomats and dignitaries it's time humans stop making excuses and start making changes to address the climate crisis.
At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money.
The UNDP's Don't Choose Extinction campaign and film shine a spotlight on fossil fuel subsidies and how they are canceling out significant progress toward ending climate change and are driving inequality. UNDP research released as part of the campaign shows that the world spends an astounding $423 billion annually to subsidize fossil fuels for consumers, including oil, electricity generated by the burning of other fossil fuels, gas and coal. This could cover the cost of COVID-19 vaccinations for every person in the world, or pay for 3 times the annual amount needed to eradicate extreme poverty around the globe. Mongolia is one of the countries most vulnerable to climate change, as in the last 70 years, annual air temperature has increased by about 2.4 degrees Celsius, more than double the global average. Ongoing climate warming is causing drought, extreme weather hazards, frequent wildfires, permafrost loss, and water shortages in the country. Such negative impacts pose growing challenges and risks to rural livelihoods, which in turn forces internal migration to urban centers. Intensive urbanization has challenges of its own, such as a critical level of air and environmental pollution, among others. Under the Don't Choose Extinction campaign, UNDP Mongolia calls for increased investment in renewable energy solutions. This is first ever film to be made inside the UN General Assembly using computer-generated imagery.
The Ministry of Health and the National Center for Communicable Diseases held its daily press briefing to provide the latest updates on COVID-19 status in Mongolia.
The Ministry of Health today on December 30th has reported that 116 new COVID-19 cases were detected in the past 24 hours after tests were carried out at PCR laboratories across the country. Unfortunately, 1 patient with underlying health conditions died of COVID-19 complications. All new cases except 11 were confirmed domestically, out of which 73 were confirmed in Ulaanbaatar and 32 were confirmed in the provinces, and the remaining 11 cases were imported. 1,799 COVID-19 patients are being treated at hospitals nationwide. Additionally, 3,180 patients are being treated at home. Among the 1,799 COVID-19 patients being treated at hospitals nationwide, 694 are showing mild symptoms of illness and 25 are in critical condition. As of now, around 2.15 million people have had 2 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine and 28% of the population has received the booster shot so far.
Our next story. In our country, the gender ratio among teachers is exceptionally high. For example, in Ulaanbaatar, only 2% of all teachers working in the industry are male. For instance, there are only 10 male teachers working at the kindergarten. Now let's take a look at the story of one of them. This is Atumbat, who works at the Mongol Betlegoyong kindergarten in Hangul district. He is one of the examples that disprove the common theory that men cannot be early childhood educators. He said that it is important to be understanding of each child's needs and also to treat them like friends at times. A day with children is filled with laughter and crying, smiles and tears. They would easily get really emotional and excited and would even call him dad at times.
Every child is different. It requires us teachers to use many different methods when working with them. It is very important for teachers not to be limited to the traditional way of educating, but to learn modern approaches. Teachers should always learn new skills by doing research and studying new practice.
Atumbat has 20 children in his class. It is not an easy job to feed them, educate them, and teach them basic life skills. As Atumbat said, when taking a new class, sometimes parents would hesitate because he was a male teacher. There had been even a few times when parents asked for their children to be switched to another class. However, after 1 to 2 months, parents understand that there is no need to be hesitant over their children's teacher's gender.
Хоолыг сайн зажилж идэх нь бидэрт ямар хэрэгтэй вэ хүүхдүүд ээ?
In kindergarten, children learn the skills to take care of themselves and one another. They switch rounds to set off the table and help each other.
At first, it is a little bit uncomfortable to work with a male teacher, but we started to work really well with each other in no time. There is nothing different to assist a male teacher than it is to a female teacher. Every teacher is professional regardless of their sex.
After graduation, Atumbat worked with 3 fellow male teachers at the 101st kindergarten in Söngenharchen district. At first, it felt quite hard to work at the kindergarten, but he said he never once gave up on his job. He is married and a father of 2. During work, he is focused on educating the children in his class, and after work, he focuses on being a good father. In our country, there are only around 20 male kindergarten teachers. The number of people engaged in household production is increasing year by year. They continue their business without any financial support from the government. In our next report, we would like to highlight a woman who is engaged in a household business. Altenchim's main profession is an engineer. She graduated more than 30 years ago and could have kept working as an engineer. However, circumstances caused her to move to Bayangkongor province to earn a living. While living there, she discovered that there was a big local market in the area. At the beginning, she used to make arroz or dried curds and sell dairy products, but now she has successfully launched her own brand of products. Altenchim says that if everyone changed their attitude a little bit, every Mongolian family could become a manufacturer.
I make 20 loaves of bread, fry 20 pancakes, and prepare about 20 kilograms of various cakes until 2 or 3 a.m. daily. People talk about what they lack when they start a business, and the main problem usually is securing financial resources. They say there are no resources to start a business and they cannot borrow money from the banks. Some natural resources are free and easy to use. For example, mushrooms and various types of fruits. In the fall, when people go to relax with their families, I go to the Hufskeltag to pick a sea buckthorn to make my yak brand products. I plan to plant different kinds of fruits and berries myself next year. When you think about it, someone who works diligently will succeed.
Last year, her family moved to Ulaanbaatar city from Bayangkongor province. They make monthly financial plan and spend some portion of their income on deeds of kindness. Her family believes that those who engage in running a successful business should give back to society.
Yesterday, I provided a yurt that I bought from my profits earned in July, August, and September to a single mother with 2 children. In addition to my normal work, I picked up some old, rusty strollers, renovated their cushions, spray painted them, and provided wheelchairs to a total of 2,700 children with disabilities. Generally, I sew handicrafts for children when I have some free time. Recently, I sewed baby blankets for 108 newborn babies and passed them on to their mothers.
Altenchimik and her family have shown that there are always opportunities for hardworking people. She said that she hopes to expand her family business and help even more people. Now let's check on the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. And here's the weather forecast for major cities around the world. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for staying with us on News Mongolia. See you tomorrow with more stories and updates. Have a great evening. Goodbye.